Welcome to the Urban Herald. We're part of the team here, dedicated to cutting through the noise and giving you clear, data-driven insights into the forces shaping our world.
That's right. And today we're doing a deep dive into something that's generated, well, frankly, a ton of headlines and maybe some anxiety too. AI and unemployment.
Specifically, we're looking at the post-ChatGPT era.
Mm.
It launched back in November 2022. Feels like longer ago somehow.
It doesn't it? And ever since, that age-old debate, technology versus jobs, has flared up again, but with this new intensity.
Everyone's asking, right, are the robots really coming for our jobs this time? Is this wave different?
Exactly. From CEOs to your neighbor, it's on people's minds.
And here we are, August 2025. It's so easy to get swept up in either the fear or, the breathless hype.
Mm-hmm.
But our mission here at the Urban Herald, as always, is to move past the speculation. We want to give you, our listener, a solid, grounded understanding of what has actually been happening in the labor market.
Yeah, we've spent a lot of time digging through the data for our latest comprehensive report, looking at different sectors, comparing forecasts with what really played out.
So what did we find? We'll start with some context, maybe.
A good idea. Because look, automation isn't new, not by a long shot. It's been reshaping industries for decades.
Right, think manufacturing robots, algorithmic trading, and finance.
Exactly. And historically, big shifts in unemployment. They've mostly tracked major economic events, the dot-com bust, the 2008 financial crisis, the pandemic more recently. It wasn't usually one single tech wave causing those huge spikes.
That's such a critical point, because if you look at the job market just before ChatGPT arrived,
Yeah.
well, global unemployment was already heading down. It hit that nasty peak of 6.4% in 2020 because of the pandemic, sure.
Understandable.
But by 2023, it was down to 5.1%. And the ILO, the International Labor Organization, was projecting it would dip below 5% in 2024.
So things were already improving. That downward trend was in motion before November 2022.
Precisely. Which makes the impact of ChatGPT on the conversation so fascinating.
It really does. That launch was explosive, hitting 100 million users in, 2 months?
Unbelievable speed.
And it gave everyone, not just AI specialists, but, writers, managers, students, this incredibly visceral sense of what machine intelligence could do.
You could just type something in and see it generate text, code, ideas.
Right. And suddenly people in all sorts of jobs, recruiters, copywriters, customer service folks, they had this powerful new tool to play with. C-suites started demanding AI strategies now.
Yeah, and layoff trackers even began citing automation as a reason for job cuts. It was this immediate repricing almost of certain tasks and worker value.
Even while, as you said, the overall unemployment rate was still slowly ticking down post-pandemic.
Which led to these really mixed signals, especially as we moved into 2024 and early 2025.
Definitely. Take young tech workers in the U.S., for example, those aged 20 to 30. Between January 2024 and now August 2025, their unemployment rate jumped nearly 3 percentage points.
3 points, that's significant.
It is. It's about 4 times the increase seen across the wider U.S. economy in that same period. So very specific, concentrated disruption happening there.
And this is the crucial counterpoint. During that exact same time frame, overall U.S. unemployment just kind of hovered. It stayed between 3.8% and 4.2%, barely moved.
Right. And globally, yes, the active workforce shrank a bit in 2024 by about 4.15%. But our analysis points more towards cyclical economic weakness and, frankly, ongoing demographic shifts, aging populations, things like that. Not a direct hit from Gen AI across the board.
So the early takeaway, the headline from that initial period is what? AI job displacement is real. You can see it clearly in certain pockets.
Very clearly. But it's being offset or diffused by gains happening elsewhere in the economy. It's not one simple story.
Okay, so that sets the stage. Let's zoom out then. Looking at the global picture since late 2022, based on everything we've analyzed for the report, did we see that massive broad-based surge in joblessness that some headlines predicted?
The short answer, no. Despite all the noise, the global numbers just don't show a catastrophic rise directly linked to generative AI.
In fact, as we mentioned, projections still have global unemployment dipping below 5% this year. That 4-year improvement trend is holding.
It is, however, and this is a big however, while the overall picture looks relatively stable, the pain in specific areas has been quite sharp. It really underscores how uneven this transition is.
Where have we seen the most impact then?
Well, entry-level jobs, for one. In the UK, we tracked job adverts. Between late 2022 and May 2025, entry-level postings fell by roughly a third.
A third. Wow. Any particular fields?
Graduate schemes and professional services, think accounting, consulting, they were hit particularly hard.
That points to a squeeze at the very start of the career ladder. What about freelancers? They seemed particularly exposed.
They were, and the data bears that out. On one major online platform, freelancers and jobs highly exposed to AI tools saw about a 2% drop in the number of contracts they got.
Okay, 2%.
And, maybe more worryingly, a 5% slide in their earnings after these new generative tools really took hold. That's a direct hit to their income.
Yeah, that's tangible. And even within big tech itself, we heard about layoffs.
We did a lot. Nearly 78,000 tech jobs were cut, citing AI-related reasons in just the first half of 2025 alone.
78,000 in 6 months.
It shows how fast large companies can react and, well, redeploy labor, automate tasks once the tech becomes viable. It's about reconfiguring the workforce.
So pulling that together, displacement is real. It's significant in places. It hits automatable tasks, routine work, entry-level roles hardest. It's definitely uneven.
Absolutely.
But it's not automatically translating into higher overall national unemployment numbers.
Exactly, because you've got these other dynamics simultaneously pushing back new jobs being created because of AI, people retiring or leaving the workforce for other reasons, demographic shifts, other sectors growing. It's a complex ecosystem.
It really is. Which brings us to the crunch question, Try. Who is getting hit hardest? Who's managing to stay resilient? And crucially, where are the new jobs actually appearing?
Okay, let's break it down sector by sector, starting with tech and software engineering because it's such a paradox there.
It really is. You hear Microsoft, Amazon, others announcing thousands of cuts, sometimes explicitly saying it's to refocus on AI.
Right. But in the same breath, they're hiring like crazy for totally new roles. Prompt engineers, machine learning scientists, data infrastructure architects.
So Goldman Sachs estimated Gen AI could potentially displace maybe 6–7% of the U.S. workforce over time.
Yeah.
But the key part of their analysis, and ours, is that many workers might just shift roles.
It's that skills pivot idea again. Less about net job loss, more about a fundamental change in the kinds of skills needed within the industry itself.
Okay, so traditional coding might be under pressure, but AI-specific roles are booming. The prompt engineers, the people who talk to the AI, that's a real job now.
A crucial one. It's about mastering how to communicate effectively with these powerful models to get the best results.
Right. Now let's shift gears. What about professional services? Finance, law, accounting, consulting. These fields relied heavily on junior staff for, let's call it grunt work.
Yeah, exactly. Document review, basic data crunching, drafting initial reports, stuff that historically was the training ground for new associates or analysts.
And now?
Now, generative models can do a pretty decent job with a lot of that, and the impact is measurable. You mentioned the UK earlier, Britain's big four accountancy firms. They posted 44% fewer graduate vacancies in 2025 compared to before.
44%, that's huge.
Right.
It really does create a bottleneck, doesn't it? Harder to get that first foot on the ladder.
It does. But what's fascinating is while those entry points are squeezed, demand for senior talent, people with deep industry knowledge, judgment, client relationship skills, that remains incredibly high.
So they need the experienced people to oversee the AI, ensure quality, manage the ethics, handle the complex stuff the AI can't.
Precisely. AI is reshaping the hierarchy, changing the tasks at each level, not just wiping out the whole structure.
Okay, that makes sense. What about sectors maybe less obviously tied to language models? Manufacturing, logistics, retail?
Well, factory automation, robots on assembly lines, that predates ChatGPT by decades.
Sure.
But now, these natural language models are filtering into the back office functions. Things like procurement, supply chain planning, inventory management. And in retail specifically, we saw a really significant drop, about 78% in entry-level job vacancies between late 2022 and mid-2025. Part of that is AI chatbots handling customer queries, computer vision systems for checkout.
78% reduction, that sounds like a massive hit.
It is a big number, but again, it's not the full story. Those same retailers are actively hiring data scientists to analyze customer behavior, robotics technicians to maintain automated warehouses, AI systems integrators to make all the tech work together.
So it's that reshuffling pattern again. Different skills, different roles, but not necessarily a mass exodus of people from the sector.
Exactly. It's a transformation of what work looks like within retail and logistics.
Okay, now are there sectors that have proven, perhaps surprisingly, more resilient?
Yes, definitely. Healthcare and education stand out. Despite initial fears, these very human-centric sectors have largely held their ground in terms of employment.
Oh, so?
Our analysis and peer-reviewed studies show clinicians using AI tools maybe like ChatGPT, but more as assistants for drafting triage notes, summarizing research papers.
But not making the actual diagnosis.
No, not taking over core diagnostic responsibility or patient interaction. The human clinician remains central.
And education.
Similar story. Teachers are using AI perhaps as a drafting aid for lesson plans or to help create personalized learning exercises for students. But it's not replacing the teacher in the classroom.
So this really backs up that complementarity thesis we hear about.
Strongly. In fields where empathy, ethical judgment, nuanced human interaction are absolutely core to the service, AI acts as a tool, an augmenter, not a substitute. It enhances what the human professional does.
Perfect examples of human-AI collaboration. Okay, one more specific group. The freelance and gig economy. How has it played out for them? The risks seem different there.
It is different because you don't have formal layoffs. A client needing, say, basic marketing copy or a simple logo can just switch to using an AI tool for the next project instead of hiring a freelancer.
It's a quieter kind of displacement.
Exactly. And we saw the impact in earnings, that 5% drop for AI-exposed freelancers over 2 years we mentioned earlier. It's a direct consequence of clients automating routine tasks.
So if you're a freelancer in one of those areas, what's the path forward?
Adaptation is key. The successful strategies seem to involve specializing, moving up the value chain, focusing on high-level strategy, unique brand voice development, complex narrative work, or providing that crucial layer of ethical oversight and quality control on top of AI-generated content.
Basically, lean into the skills that are uniquely human and harder to automate.
That's the essence of it. Elevate your offering beyond the routine.
This leads us nicely into the bigger economic picture, doesn't it? The potential productivity boost from AI.
Yes, the potential economic multiplier. This is the flip side of the displacement coin. Our findings align with models like Goldman Sachs's, suggesting full AI adoption could lift productivity in developed economies by potentially an incredible 15%.
15%, that's massive.
That's a
What about the unemployment impact during that transition?
The models suggest maybe a temporary bump, perhaps half a percentage point rise while the economy adjusts. But historically, technology-driven productivity gains tend to see unemployment fade back down within a couple of years as labor reallocates to new roles and industries spurred by that growth.
And our own 2025 review confirms we're not seeing a statistically significant link yet between AI exposure and overall unemployment, hours worked, or wage growth in the aggregate data.
That's correct, as of mid-2025. The aggregate impact hasn't materialized in the way the most dire predictions suggested. The productivity promise is still mostly potential, but the disruptive signals are clearer than the aggregate ones.
But you mentioned developed economies. Does this play out differently elsewhere?
It does. There's significant regional divergence. Emerging economies generally have less exposure right now. Maybe around 26% of tasks are vulnerable to AI automation, compared to nearly 60% in advanced economies. That's partly due to different industry mixes.
So less immediate risk.
Less immediate risk of displacement, yes, but they also often face bigger gaps in digital skills and infrastructure, which means it might be harder for them to create those new complementary AI-related jobs.
So that creates a really tricky policy dilemma.
Exactly. Do you rush to adopt AI to capture productivity gains, but risk displacing workers before you have the reskilling infrastructure in place? Or do you hold back, potentially falling behind economically? It's a tough balancing act for policymakers globally.
Which really brings us to the heart of it. This idea of human-machine symbiosis as the future.
Right. Decades of research point to this. Routine tasks, both cognitive and manual, are the most vulnerable to automation. But non-routine tasks, analytical thinking, complex problem solving, interpersonal communication, creativity, they become more valuable.
And tools like ChatGPT are supercharging the automation of routine language tasks. They can write, summarize, translate with incredible fluency.
Incredible fluency. But, and this is critical, they still lack what we call embodied cognition. They don't understand the physical world through experience. They lack true situational awareness, common sense reasoning in novel situations, and crucially, moral responsibility.
So the future isn't just humans or machines, it's humans with machines.
Precisely. The valuable roles are increasingly those that orchestrate, guide, interpret, and govern what the machines do. We're seeing whole new job categories emerge.
Like what?
Prompt engineering, as we mentioned, AI safety and ethics roles, data curation specialists ensuring AI models are trained on quality, unbiased data, and domain-specific overseers, doctors validating AI medical suggestions, editors refining AI-directed articles.
That's a great point. Can you give a concrete example of this symbiosis in action?
Sure, think about content creation and search engine optimization, SEO. Google's own ranking framework, they call it EEAT.
Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness.
Exactly. That framework actually highlights AI's limits perfectly. An LLM can assemble facts brilliantly, but it doesn't have first-person experience. It can't hold a professional accreditation or build genuine trust based on lived expertise.
So just churning out AI content doesn't guarantee success.
Not anymore, perhaps not ever for high-value content. What we're seeing work best in terms of search visibility, reader engagement is a blend. Organizations using AI for research assistance, for structuring drafts, maybe for initial editing.
But layered with genuine human insight, unique storytelling, verified expertise, and that crucial element of experience.
Precisely. The human author remains central, leveraging AI as a powerful tool. This creates demand for hybrid roles, people who understand both the subject matter and how to use AI effectively and ethically.
Which really hammers home the point about reskilling, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It all boils down to this. Whether AI leads to higher unemployment or greater prosperity really hinges on how quickly and inclusively we can adapt our skills.
So investment in reskilling isn't just a nice to have, it's fundamental.
It's critical. Governments, companies, educational institutions, those investing seriously in lifelong learning, in accessible digital literacy programs, in creating portable credentials for new skills, they're the ones likely to amplify AI's benefits and mitigate the downsides.
And we're seeing models that work.
Yes. Things like corporate university partnerships focused on retraining mid-career workers, government-funded boot camps specifically teaching AI literacy to those displaced from other sectors, industry-specific certifications for managing AI tools within, say, healthcare or finance.
But the warning is clear. If we just let the market rip without proactive reskilling efforts.
The risk is significant. You could see a real polarization of the labor market, a small group of high-skill AI experts doing very well, and a larger group struggling with displacement and stagnant wages, exacerbating inequality.
Okay, so bringing it all together, what's the snapshot look like right now in August 2025 based on our report?
We're seeing continued sectoral rebalancing, jobs shifting towards roles augmented by AI. There's definitely growing demand for those ethical AI jobs, governance, oversight, safety.
Reskilling programs are expanding, especially across OECD countries.
They are. But that pressure on entry-level roles in traditional white-collar fields, that persists, even as totally new opportunities are opening up in building and maintaining the AI infrastructure itself.
Tell me more about these ethical AI jobs. That sounds like a really key growth area.
It really is. It's becoming a distinct category. You've got AI ethics officers embedded in companies trying to ensure responsible development and deployment, algorithmic auditors checking for bias and fairness.
Human AI interaction designers focused on making the collaboration smooth and effective.
Exactly. Plus, AI policy analysts helping governments craft regulations, AI safety researchers working on long-term risks. These roles are where human judgment, ethics, and deep contextual understanding are absolutely irreplaceable. It's the human oversight economy taking shape.
And those successful reskilling programs you mentioned, what makes them work? Are there common features?
Yeah, a few things stand out. Public-private partnerships seem crucial, like Singapore's Skills Future Initiative or Germany's Qualification Opportunities Act. They blend government funding with industry needs.
Makes sense. What else?
Sector-specific training often beats generic AI courses, tailoring programs for the specific ways AI is used in finance versus healthcare, for example.
And you mentioned micro-credentialing.
Yes, this seems really promising, offering smaller, stackable credentials. It lets people build skills incrementally, often while still working, making the transition less risky and more manageable. It's about continuous adaptation.
And how are different regions tackling this whole challenge? Are we seeing different policy approaches emerge?
Very different approaches, actually. The European Union has gone for a comprehensive regulatory route with its AI Act, mandatory impact assessments, requirements for transparency, plus funding for retraining and incentives to preserve jobs.
Okay, that's the EU. What are the US?
The U.S. is, characteristically perhaps, more market-led. Adaptation is driven more by companies innovating. There's less federal coordination, more variation at the state level, focusing on fostering innovation and relying on flexible labor markets to adjust.
And Asia.
Leaders there, like South Korea and Japan, are often taking a very proactive stance. They're pouring public money into AI research and simultaneously investing heavily in workforce development programs. Their goal seems to be capturing an employment advantage from AI, not just managing the downside.
Three distinct strategies playing out globally. Okay, so let's try and summarize the main finding from the Urban Herald's deep dive, looking back since November 2022.
I think the clearest takeaway is this. We have seen neither the catastrophic, widespread job loss that some feared, nor has it been a completely smooth, frictionless transition into some AI-powered utopia.
Right. It's messier, more nuanced than either extreme. Aggregate unemployment globally is still generally trending down post-pandemic.
Specific groups, younger tech workers, people trying to enter fields like accounting or law, certain types of freelancers, they have definitely felt concentrated pain and disruption.
So it's wrong to think of AI and unemployment as simple opposites. They're intertwined variables in a much bigger equation.
Exactly. And the outcome isn't predetermined. Policy choices matter hugely. If you deploy powerful AI without investing in skilling people up to work with it,
You risk creating structural unemployment, leaving people behind.
but if you couple AI adoption with smart strategic investments in reskilling, decent safety nets for those transitioning, and strong ethical guardrails.
Then you potentially unlock that classic pattern of technological progress.
Yeah.
Some temporary disruption, yes, but ultimately leading to higher productivity, new kinds of jobs, and potentially greater overall prosperity.
That's the potential upside. The AI-driven economy really demands new ways of working human-AI collaboration, where the tech amplifies our uniquely human skills.
Mm.
Creativity, critical thinking, judgment, empathy, not replaces them wholesale.
The choices we make now as societies, as companies, as individuals will really shape whether AI becomes a tool for broadly shared progress or widens the gaps.
Couldn't agree more.
So the final thought we want to leave you, our listener, with today is this. How might these insights from our deep dive affect your own career path, the industry you work in? What skills might be most valuable for you to cultivate in this evolving landscape?
Yeah, how do you see yourself engaging with these changes, shaping your own future of work? It's a question for all of us.
Your active engagement, your willingness to learn and adapt will be absolutely crucial. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive from the Urban Herald.
We'll be back soon with more analysis.